Yo, football is back. What's going on, everybody? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. You know how it goes. This is the sports channel where the cerebral fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. What's up, Big Play Slave? What's going on, David Barry? How's everybody doing in the chat? All right, y'all. So before we jump into tonight's kind of live stream conversation, look, I just want to go for about an hour or so, guys. I want to talk a little bit about the game, and I got to get ready, get my food, get myself set up. You know what I'm saying? Myself here, guys. But I want to start off by doing a little live unboxing. So got me a little something from Print Champs. I want to talk a little bit about what I got here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I think I got a knife here if I need it, but we'll see. Got it in a poly mailer, followed in by priority mailbox to protect it. Pretty nicely wrapped up together, guys. Hang on, I'll show you the box in a second, guys. Boom. And then, hang on, let me grab my what's good, everybody? What's going on, Philly Fan D? What's up, Archer? What's good, Tafia? All right, guys, let me open this up. Try not to cut anything inside of it, the merchandise. All right, guys. So, unboxing. Just to show y'all what I got. I just wanted to take a little time to support another fellow content creator. This is somebody I know that puts in a lot of work. I probably would have had them on tonight's show, honestly, if I didn't think that they would be working, because I'm pretty sure they were working. But you know what? I had to go get me some of that Philly freshness here. Got me a ball cap, guys. I'm gonna switch out, put on my ball cap, man, in support of my guy Fresh. I'm gonna have to bend the cap later, guys. All right, y'all. So let's talk today, guys. Let's talk a little bit. All right. Eagles Uncensored. Ray, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing in the chat, y'all? So I want to talk for a second. I want to talk about, man, I look like Opie Taylor with my stuff like this, bro. I don't like this. But I'm going to bend it up when I wear it again, guys. I want to talk about the depth chart, man, because a couple days ago, the depth chart was released. But, a lot of people didn't make a lot of noise about it. And to be honest with you, I didn't even really look it over just because I kind of had a pretty good feeling how the depth chart was going to shake out. But then I kind of looked at it. I looked at it for tonight's game, and some of it doesn't matter because – kind of dudes got put on the injury list, and then that kind of ironed itself out anyways. What's up, Jock Talk? What's up, Larry Phillips? How y'all doing, guys? So there was some weirdness, though. Let me just read you some of what was going on here, man. Eagles Uncensored. What's good, buddy? So wide receiver 1. This is the first unofficial depth chart, guys. Wide receiver 1 was Devontae Smith. Wide receiver 2 was Jalen Reagor. Wide receiver 3 was Greg Ward Jr., right? No big craziness there, right? Devontae Smith is likely out tonight with an injury. Not likely. He's out tonight with an injury. So Travis Fulgham would be your wide receiver 1. So technically your second team wide receiver there is Travis Fulgham, okay? So who's basically going in tonight for your wide receivers? Who's your first team? It's Travis Fulgham. It's Greg Ward. It's Jalen Reagor. Who's your second team? To me, it looks like they're going to have John Hightower, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and Quez Watkins as your second team. All right. Some other interesting notes I saw here, guys. Did anybody see what they had listed at left tackle? This one shocked me a little bit, man. They had Andre Dillard scheduled to start tonight, but Andre Dillard got injured, so now it won't matter. I mean, that's interesting. It doesn't mean anything, guys. Like sometimes they start guys even though they're losing the battle. It doesn't matter. They start them anyways. So it doesn't mean that they were like signaling that they were leaning Andre Dillard. But it is interesting that they were going to give Andre Dillard a crack at first team reps tonight. I guess they wanted to see, you know what I'm saying? Like they wanted to see what was going on. But obviously Dillard's down. And I think that's the other thing we need to talk about. So before I jump into any further conversation, let me just read you guys the injury list as I see it here, guys, as it's popping up on my screen. So limited. Here's limited. Sorry, guys, my mouse is going crazy. So Brandon Brooks is limited. Matt Leo's limited. Michael Walker got cut, so it doesn't matter anymore. Isaac Seumalo has a hamstring. He's limited. So your day-to-days, Graylin Arnold, a little disappointed Graylin Arnold won't be out there. Jannard Avery. I'm hoping Jannard Avery goes tonight because that's going to make a big difference if he doesn't. Jason Kroom, heck of a time to go day-to-day, man. So he's going to have to get back in this fight quickly or else it's not going to work out well for him. Craig James is day to day. That one kind of that hurts Craig James a little bit there. So then our week to week. So they had John Hightower with a groin. So I think Hightower's out tonight. So I don't think Hightower will be second team, which will be interesting. Devontae Smith has a knee. Clearly he's down. Jacoby Stevens with a hamstring. That really stinks because Jacoby Stevens is the guy I would have liked to have seen play. Davion Taylor is down with a calf. Casey Tucker is down with a bicep. The way the roster is shaping up due to injuries, none of this stuff is crazy. Jalen, I'm going to watch it on Game Pass. None of this stuff is necessarily crazy, but it's not like, season ending. It's not like long duration injuries or anything like that. But it still stinks that we're going into week one banged up. And I'm going to get into some of what some of you guys are saying. A few guys are already chiming in with some really good points, which is like, who's playing tackle? Like, what's going on? Well, they had Andre Dillard, penciled in to be the starter. He won't be taking those reps, obviously, since he's injured. So Jordan Mailata be your left tackle to start the game. Lane Johnson to be your right tackle. I don't know how long they're going to play them, but I have a weird gut instinct, guys, that they might play longer than people think, just because of pure need. Like, you're not going to put Jalen Hurts out there with Casey. Well, Casey Tucker's injured, so Casey Tucker can't even go out there. But you're certainly not going to put him out there with probably Brett Toth and some other guys. There's just, I wouldn't. I mean, I can't say what they will or won't do, guys. I shouldn't say that, but I know personally, I wouldn't do anything like that again. Jalen, it might be free for the preseason. You have to check it out, man. I'm not really sure, but just hit me up on Twitter if you can't find it, and I'll tell you another way of getting it. Or Instagram, either one will work. But it's going to be interesting, like how long they play these guys. I got a feeling they might play the entire first quarter just because of like what happened, to some of the guys here, and that's that's the crazy thing is trying to really break down this roster and see what we can't do amongst tackles. But just to go over some of the depth here, let's go over the depth at the offensive line, guys. So that way you'll get an idea of how they're lining people up, right? So Andre Dillard's out. Jordan Mailata is your first team left tackle. Your second team left tackle currently is Brett Toth. I'm wondering if they're going to shake things up because of the nature of the line. This is what they put out on like Monday or Tuesday, guys, somewhere in that area. It's subject to change due to injuries. I would not be shocked to see, a guy like Matt Pryor maybe kick out at some point to left tackle or right tackle just because Matt Pryor or even like a Owasika. Owasika would be like those guys to me would be probably more equipped to play left tackle or right tackle in a necessary like emergency thing over exposing a 36-year-old quarterback to like Brett Toth out there. I think that would be a disaster. But right now Brett Toth is scheduled to be second team, guys. So left tackle for first team is Jordan Mailata. Isaac Seumalo is technically scheduled in there, but he's not playing. So second team is Sua Peta. So as it lays out, it would be Mailata, Sua Peta, Jason Kelsey. Brandon Brooks is technically scheduled in, but he's not going to play tonight, obviously. So Matt Pryor would be he's your second string. So he would then come in as your first. So you would have Jordan Mailata, Sua Peta, Kelsey, Matt Pryor, and Lane Johnson. They may shake things up. I don't know why you would save Nate Herbig for second team. I mean, I think some of these dudes you could play first and second team. I don't think it's a big deal to play some of these guys an entire first half of the game and then switch in some of the guys that are a little bit more of a long shot to make the roster in the second half of the game when there's a little less on the line here. Some other guys here, Rosh Pierschbacher is third team left guard. Rosh Pierschbacher can also play center, but he's not scheduled to be the third team center. Third team center is scheduled to be Luke Juriga. Third team right guard. This one's a bit of a shock to me because I always thought of Owasika as more as a left, but they got him as a third team right guard. So he'd probably be the second team with Brandon Brooks out. He'd probably be your second and your third team. And then Jack Driscoll is scheduled to be the second team kind of like right tackle. So I guess if we were to look at it, second team would be like currently. It'll change, guys, probably. Brett Toth at left tackle, second team, right? Then you got Rosh Pierschbacher scheduled in currently would in as the second team left guard. Nate Herbig would be your center on the second team. Then you would have Owasika would be your second team right guard. And then Jack Driscoll would be your right tackle. So you'd go Driscoll, Owasika, Herbig, Pierschbacher, and Toth on the second team. And then your third team is where things get really interesting. I would assume that Toth would still be out there. You'd shuffle your lineup. I don't know, guys. So you'd go Toth, Harry Kreider at left guard. That would be a nightmare. Thank God he's not snapping the ball. So Toth, Kreider, Luke Driga. Luke Driga is actually doing decently. Like Driga is probably the best of these names. I would assume your right guard on third team would still be Oasika. They'd probably keep him in the game. And then your third team right tackle is a mystery because it's supposed to be Casey Tucker, but he's injured. So the offensive line is a mess right now. Long story short, guys. Like I said, guys, they might mix some things up and move guys like Pryor. I mean, Oasika can play tackle. Like Oasika was a left tackle at Buffalo. I mean, he's probably going to be better because he's a little shorter arm guy, but he's very stout. He's very strong. He would probably be a better fit as a left tackle over. I mean, look, maybe Toth has made a lot of advancements. I mean, it's probably not right to just count him off so quickly, man, but Ray, I appreciate the super chat, buddy. Ray says, you're the man, Steve. I love the way you break it down. I appreciate y'all so much, guys. It's not just me, guys. A lot of y'all are the ones who give me the video ideas. A lot of you guys guide me in what you guys want to know, what you want me to break down. So I appreciate y'all a lot in return because without the aspect of the community, I'd really be just throwing darts at the wall, hoping that a topic sticks. You guys generally help out a lot with that, guys. Jose says, what in the world is your Twitter? I believe it's Heider at Heider Steve. HEITTERSTEVE at Heider Steve. And I'll start putting that stuff up in my videos, guys. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how, I sometimes I forget to do stuff, man. So Eagles Uncensored said, honestly, Gates, I think Herbig should be over Pryor. What do you say? Push for me. I mean, Herbig played better last year than Pryor did, but Pryor was pretty good at tackle last year. I'm not saying he was great by any stretch of the imagination. Don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm saying that I thought he performed better the snaps he took at left tackle at the end of the year than I saw him play at right guard. So I don't know. We'll see, man. Pryor was training upward until last year, and then I don't know, man. I went way down on him, Eagles Uncensored, after last year. He's got a lot to prove to me before I jump back on the Matt Pryor bandwagon. Chris S said it's still a solid O-line. Bird Gang 31, what's good, buddy? How you doing, man? Another content creator, guys. Bird Gang 31. Guys, go check him out if you haven't yet, guys. Puts out pretty good content, man. He's one of the few content creators that I watch a lot, and I actually enjoy his content. Jock Talk says, why did they have Ertz first team instead of Goddard? Let's take a look. Good question. I didn't notice that one until you just said it, Jock Talk, because I really just looked at it. I don't know, man. I think they want, that might be one of those situations, Jock Talk, where they want to advertise the player, or maybe they, to be honest with you, Ertz has probably been the best receiving option in camp from what I'm hearing reported. Mind you, guys, I don't have eyes on the situation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not personally viewing it. I can only really talk about what they say, but the reports coming in is that Ertz has clearly been the best player offensively during camp. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Steve Whitecrest says, Steve rocks. Appreciate that, man. Everybody named Steve. You know what I'm saying? What's up, 2020 Vision? Good to see you, man. Vic 3's given up on the Dillard project already. Said Dillard would be your starting water boy. I'll be honest with you, Vic. I would take Dillard on second team right now over Brett Toth. If I'm being fair and I'm being honest, man, I would take Dillard over Brett Toth. I'm a little afraid here. I mean, hey, Brett Toth could, man, we might all be going, man, Brett Toth, we were wrong. Brett Toth balled out. I don't know. We'll see, man. But I don't want Hurts out there taking snaps with him back there until he proves it. My mom's not allowed in with her umbrella. Where can she watch nationally? J-Jaw, the easiest answer to that one, NFC East Beast, I know that's who you are. The easiest answer to that would be Game Pass. The more complex answer to that is I can't say it over a live Airstream, and you got to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll tell you the other backdoor ways of getting in and watching games. Yeah, it should be. I think they're still free, guys, in the preseason. I don't know, but you should be able to get like if you haven't signed up this season for NFL Game Pass, I do believe they give you a free trial. They give you like a 7-day trial, guys. Honestly, it's like $99, I want to say, for the year. And that's what gives you your all 22 access to film, guys. You get to watch every replay of the preseason games. I believe you get the live preseason games, and then you get the playback of the regular season games. You don't get them live, but you do get the playback of the regular season games along with the coaches' film. So, I mean, yeah, ironic, isn't it, guys? Bird Gang, it's ironic, right? Diller was supposed to get the start, and he's already out. So, I mean, I don't know, man. What can you do? What can you do? Okay, yeah, I see a few people say that they I appreciate you, Bird Gang. Ain't no problem, man. All the content, I try to get them in front of people, guys. What's up, Joe Castro? What's going on, buddy? Philly, the podcast in the house. It's on the Eagles app too. So you guys, if you guys can hear what he's saying here, go to the Eagles app and you can watch the game. All right. Good tip, Joe. I appreciate that, buddy, because a lot of people probably definitely want to know that advice. If I was on my phone, I could pin this, but I'm not on my phone, guys. I'll just leave it up for a little while and I'll read your comments so some of you guys know to go to the Eagles app to watch the game. All right. The Pirates' life is the way to go, J Jaw. Yes, Eminem, you got exactly my drift of what I was saying. I have used it quite a bit. Jalen, it's the same site I told you about last year. You got to get through all the buffering and all the crazy ad stuff, but if you can get through all that stuff, it is, you can watch any game you want. Philly said, Joe said, I'm in Florida, so that's how I'm watching. Laugh out loud. It's on NFL Network, replay at 8 p.m. West Coast time. Yeah, I can't wait that long, guys. I need to see it live. Steve Perry's my favorite singer. Josh, not funny, man. Jalen, all right, I'm going to pull this comment down, guys. Eagles app. If you need to watch the game, go to the Eagles app. Download it, guys. It'll be there. All right, so Jalen Williams says, it's going to be interesting to see if we run all basic stuff or if we have a few gotcha plays. Because if we run gotcha plays, that means the O needs to gain some kind of confidence. Very good point. I don't know, man. Jalen, I don't think that they're going to show anything just because why give away the advantage? Also, like the offensive line being kind of injured, I just don't think it makes any sense with an injured offensive line to do that kind of stuff. Like I expect to see a lot of runs with some mixed in play action stuff and some passes here and there. I definitely think the first team will probably get after it a little bit. I expect the first team to maybe get after it, but I think once you start seeing all these backup linemen come in, I think they're going to really simplify it. I mean, that's what personally, if I was coaching the game, Jalen, I don't know what Coach Sirianni's going to do, but generally speaking, when I'm put in a situation where I have a lot of reserved role guys in football games, I drastically simplify my offense and I lean on the running game a lot more than I probably generally would do. I expect that the Eagles will probably do a lot there. Also, on tonight's topic, guys, switching gears here, there's a really interesting, battle at the running back position, guys. Just to talk about that. So, just to talk about the running back position, guys. First team, no craziness here, right? Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard getting second team reps. Boston Scott is the third team. Kenneth Gainwell is the fourth team. Kerryon Johnson is the fifth team. Jason Huntley is the sixth team. There's not really a sixth team, guys. Get my drift here. Elijah Holyfield's the seventh team, seventh back. Obviously, those guys will split reps between second and third team. A lot of those guys will. So the first thing I'll say is this. I don't think that Jason Huntley and I don't think that Kerryon Johnson are out of it just because they're listed as fifth and sixth, right? I just think it's a one-game sample. They're going to, those guys are going to mix in between Boston Scott. Those guys are going to mix in between Jordan Howard. But what I do think it signifies is that Jordan Howard had a very good camp, and so did Boston Scott. Boston Scott had a really good camp catching the football. So excited to see if that kind of continues forward. Can we project that forward? Is that going to continue to happen, right? Is that going to be a generalized trend with this football team going forward? I hope so, but it's hard to say. But I would love to see. I would love to see a really interesting battle take place where between Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard. and I would love to see the Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and then Jason Huntley, because those guys all kind of serve somewhat similar roles. I do think that Boston Scott's built a little better to where he could probably get you a yard or two, but he's not a 20 carries a game kind of back. But those three guys, I think, serve a lot of similar roles. But Boston Scott apparently has been really good catching the ball out of the backfield in camp so far. At least that's what I'm hearing, guys. That's what tonight's for, is for us to visually see it. You know what I mean? Like, all we've been able to do so far is take other people's words and see very short clips. I broke down one of the clips yesterday, guys, and the one thing I kept trying to get across to you guys is that take everything with a grain of sand or a grain of salt, because, you're using very bad angles and very selective film that doesn't necessarily tell the entire story of how practices are going. So I'm always a little, iffy. So Just Mike, what's good, buddy? No, Adrian Killens is actually listed as a receiver. So Adrian Killens is working in the slot, actually, as a receiver. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy. What's up, Philly Mike? What's up, man? Philly Talk Podcast chiming in with Joe Castro. We got a couple Bird Gang 31 in the building. We got a couple of content creators in the chat. For all you guys, you know what? I got a little bit of time. I do got to save some time to go get film or food, not film. To go get film or food. Said it again, guys. I'm going to post, though. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the chat. So if you guys want to jump in, you can jump in, guys. It's fine. I'll go ahead and post a link for you guys to jump in if you want. But Huntley had a really great camp, Jock Talk, but I just think that the coaching staff, I'll be honest with you, Jock Talk, from what I heard, and that's the thing about what preseason is for and what joint practices are for, right? We haven't really seen it yet, but from what I heard so far is that although the coaching staff might be higher on one player over another player, Jason Huntley has performed better than Kenneth Gainwell in camp. The problem is they serve the same exact role. That's the issue. And the coaching staff just invested a draft pick, on Kenneth Gainwell. And I don't think Kenneth Gainwell, I don't know, but I don't think Kenneth Gainwell will make it through the waiver wire to put on your practice squad. Just think about it. That's what it's a mistake the Lions made last year with Jason Huntley. They put him through waiver wire trying to sneak him onto the practice squad, and the Eagles claimed him. So, it's one of those. Yeah, exactly, Jalen. I'm eating film, bro. It's one of those situations, man, to where, you're in a tough spot, man, because, they both. What's up, Eminem? I'll put you on screen, buddy. They both serve kind of a similar role. You know what I mean? Both these guys serve similar roles. Huntley does to Kenneth Gainwell to Boston Scott. I mean, I will say Huntley and Gainwell are more kick returners. Scott's more, Scott does kick returning too. So they all serve similar roles, right? Kenneth Gainwell still adjusting to the speed of the game. So I don't know that this season is necessarily the most fair. It's not a fair evaluation. Let's just be honest. Like, it's not. Like, he's still catching up to the speed of the game. You got. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one because then the other player here, Huntley's had a year to catch up to the speed of the game. Man, it's going to get crazy, man. What's up, Eminem? What's your thoughts, buddy? What do you think about this running back competition, man?
I will admit I'm not really with everything that's happened in the offseason. There's been a lot of information stuff going on that I haven't really been able to really keep up with everything. So I will admit I'm not as qualified to speak definitively on any of, I guess, the running backs that we have. But I've said it before. This season is just kind of a chill season for me. My expectations aren't necessarily low, but they're not that grand. So I just, especially after last season, I just want some enjoyable football games, and if I can get that, then I'll be content.
2020 said, Gate, are you concerned that our wide receivers are not showing much besides Quez? We're putting a lot on Smith to carry the wide receivers because my confidence has dropped with Hightower, Rager, JJ Arthega, Whiteside, and Fulgham. Fulgham has popped a little bit, to be honest, 2020 vision. He just hasn't, like, he's definitely come back to try to make some really complicated catches, and he's been really close to it. He just hasn't pulled them in. He pulls in a couple of those really difficult catches that he's dropped. It's probably a different narrative around Fulgham, so I don't know how to judge the Fulgham thing yet, but he's not really a separator. He's just a strong guy. He's a big wingspan, strong guy. Rager's got to be better. Rager's the guy that I think makes the difference. I'm excited to see what Rager does tonight. Rager's got to be the guy, in my opinion. Quez Watkins has just been jaw-droppingly good. From the little clips I've seen, every drill I've watched him run, pleasantly surprised with him. Yeah, I think you're on something 2020.
What about future Hall of Famer J-Jaw?
Honestly, I don't know. The reports around J.J. Arcega-Whiteside are that he hasn't had as good a camp as he had last year, but that good a camp he had last year amounted to nothing when he got on the field. Yeah. He looks thinner to me. Like last year, man, he looked like a tight end with just the way he was built, man. If you just, maybe he was wearing exercise pads, I don't know, but he was built like a tight end in camp last year. So it looks like he thinned out a little bit. It's a big, this is a big camp for JJ too. Somebody, I think 2020 is on to something. Somebody between that second round pick we spent on JJ, the first round pick we spent on Rager, somebody's got to step up, man. Somebody needs to step up and play.
For sure.
I think he's on to something.
And yeah, you said it best. There's no really, especially for J-Jaw, there's no excuses this season. You have someone who's professed to be a wide receiver guru and your head coach. This is your third season. You haven't lived up to where you were drafted. So if you can't do it this season, then you're gone. Yeah. Rager's the same way, but it's just more accelerated for him since he's instead of being a second round pick, he's a first round pick, and of course he has that not competition, but that comparison between him and Justin Jefferson hanging over him that he has to contend with as well.
So, just real quick, guys, I see one comment in here. Let me pull it up, guys. David Berry, what's good, buddy? He says the depth chart I'm looking at has Hakeem Butler in the slot. I thought they moved him to tight end. So I'm looking at the Eagles Wire. So if you go to theeagleswire.usatoday.com, /list/Philadelphia, tack mark Eagles, tack mark depth, tack mark chart, tack mark 2021. Just go to USA Today, guys. You go to Eagles Wire depth chart. There you go. Simplify it, guys. All right. This is how it lays it out. They have the slot receivers as Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Michael Walker, who's no longer on the team, and then Adrian Killins Jr. I would think that the other slot there would be Marquin Michelle would be your other slot probably. And then your flankers would be Jalen Rager, Quez Watkins, Andre Patton, and Jamon Osborne, which is shocking to me. Some of those guys are not flankers at all. And then your boundary sides they have listed are your wide receiver ones as Devontae Smith, Travis Fulgham, Hightower, and then Hakeem Butler. So that's how I see it listed, guys. But that doesn't mean it's correct, guys. We really won't know until tonight when they start playing the guys. But I'll have the breakdowns, guys, tomorrow for you. You already know. I'm going to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and look over everything. I'll probably watch the game a couple of times just to get a feel for the routes that were being run, stuff like that, and give you guys – I'll probably make several videos, guys. I'll probably break it down in increments over the next few days, exactly where and how guys were playing. But who knows, man?
So I missed the – oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say I missed the beginning of your stream, but did you give your initial thoughts on what do you expect from this team tonight?
I haven't really said what I expect from them. We're kind of slowly rolling into that.
Gotcha.
Guys, let me post the link in the chat. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. No, Joe, they have not. They said they'll have it up before the regular season. I got into a big argument with one of the reps on the phone about that. So from this is what I see, guys. All right, in terms of depth chart. We go over running backs, Hurts, Flacco, Mullins is your quarterbacks. We go on our offensive line, tight ends, Ertz and Goddard. Richard Rodgers is third team. So Ertz and Goddard are going to be splitting first team reps. That's also what they meant by the Dillard and Mulata. They were going to be splitting first team reps. Those are the only two spots where there is a splitting of first team reps. Is Dillard and Mulata, Ertz and Goddard. So Dillard obviously won't be splitting any reps because he's injured, but that's how they originally had it set up, guys. Outside of that, there's nowhere else on the first, second, or third team where there would be a rep split. by the way they have it listed. But then when you get to the fourth team, what they have listed as your fourth team, you have Jack Stahl, Tyree Jackson, Jason Kroom, and Caleb Wilson splitting reps on the fourth team. I'm going to guess that Richard Rodgers is going to take, they'll play Ertz and Goddard a little bit on first team. Maybe those guys will see a little bit of second team. I doubt you're going to see a lot of those guys on the second team. My theory would be that Richard Rodgers would take the majority of the second team at that point. And then you'll have a mix between third and fourth team of Jack Stahl, Tyree Jackson, Jason Kroom, and Caleb Wilson. Interesting, they have Stahl over Tyree Jackson initially, the initial. I don't know that that's how, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's how it's going to remain, guys, but that's how they initially have it listed. So what I'll ask you real quick, Eminem, and guys, if you want to come in the chat and talk, come in the chat and talk, guys. Eminem, who is the player offensively? Let's go offensively. Who's the player offensively you want to see? Like you want to hear has a good preseason game tonight?
That's a tough question. Can I go like 1A, 1B, 1C?
You can name more than one player. Yeah, you can name more than one.
I guess this may be a shock, but Zach Ertz. I have a feeling that, at least with the organization, they still kind of want to get rid of him. So I imagine that they're going to use the opportunity of preseason to kind of show him off. And,
sure.
I guess Zach Ertz is one of my favorite Eagles players, but I think if they really want to move on from him, I think it's probably best for them to try to do that soon, or I guess this without going to the regular season. I guess my 1B would be Gainwell, the running back. I think he's Fletcher's cousin. I just want to see what he's all about. This is probably unpopular, but I'm over the offseason, I'm starting to think that maybe Miles Sanders really isn't that every down back, that bell cow back that everyone wants him to be. So if we can see a lot of good stuff from Gainwell, I'm not saying he will be a replacement for Miles down the road or anything, but if we can have that second young dude besides him, that would be great.
Yeah, and guys, if you want to come in to the chat, I've posted it in there. If you want to come in the chat and tell me offensively who's your guys you want to see tonight, you can come in and you can talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Eminem.
Oh yeah, sure. And I guess my third one would be honestly J-Jaw. I know preseason it doesn't mean much, but for his sake, I kind of want to see some improvement. We like to joke on him and all that, but I imagine it kind of sucks for someone to grow up wanting to play in the NFL and their first 3 years in the NFL, or to be blunt, a joke. So if I can see some improvement from the guy, then I'd be happy to see that.
Yeah, I hear you. So Joey Z, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy?
Yo, bro, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking to see Watkins, man. He's been flashing all these practices. I want to see him do something in a game,
Yeah, especially against a really good secondary that, in Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh has a tremendous secondary. So, I mean, him making plays against this secondary would definitely mean something.
Yeah, sure.
You got any other players in particular you want to see offensively?
Mailata.
Mailata?
Sure. Mailata. Yeah. I want to see him how he does that at left tackle.
Yeah.
Those are my top two, though.
What's good, Mr. Swamp? How you doing, buddy?
I'm chilling, bro. How about you?
Good, man. Good. So who's your players offensively you want to see?
Probably the guy from USC, the defensive lineman. I forgot his name. Tuipulotu, I think his name is.
Tuipulotu.
Yeah, that guy. I want to see that guy. I want to see Watkins, and I want to see the guy from Carolina, Jackson.
Yeah.
Aaron Jackson.
Yeah.
Teron Jackson.
Definitely defense. I want to see defense.
Tonight. Yeah.
I want to see how the defense works.
Yeah. Vic 3's already getting pumped. So I'll say a few guys I want to see, like first team. To me, on the first team, I want to see Rager's got to show something. Like, I need to see Rager really, really show that he can take a game over and be like a complete complement to this offense. And then Travis Fulgham, I need to see him be able to do what Alshon Jeffrey used to do, which is kind of ground the offense. when Alshon was really good for the Eagles, and I know that was a period of really only 2017 and 18, but when he was and very early in 19, when he was really good for the Eagles, he grounded the offense, right? He was that guy that besides Zach Ertz could go get those conversion downs, could be that like that kind of target. I think Fulgham needs to kind of show that he could be that big body type receiver for the Eagles offense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, he's a big deal. And I think Rager's a big deal on the first team. The second team, I think the second team gets really interesting to me because I want to see is Jordan Howard still that guy that can put people on their backside in the running game? Can he bring an attitude? Because like after that shoulder injury, I just didn't see the same guy anymore. Like he never came back following the shoulder injury, in 2019. And then the guy that came back to us in 2020 was a shell of the guy that was there early in the 2019 season. But for that like 8-week window, we had the real Jordan Howard. It was something that was kind of special between the complement of him and Miles Sanders. And if I can see that guy reemerge and I mean just bring an attitude to the offense, I think that adds a dimension to this team that was missing last year, which is an edge, a toughness to this team, especially with a bad offensive line.
Wasn't he ahead of Johnson on the depth chart?
He is.
Yeah,
he is. Wow. He's going to take second team reps tonight.
He'll play good in this offense.
Yeah, I'll say the other second team player, because you guys already mentioned Quez Watkins. I'll say the other second team player I need to see something out of is JJ Arcega-Whiteside. JJ's, I mean, like, I already think he's on the outside looking in for camp. I don't know that he's a lot to make this roster.
Yeah,
I don't
know, man.
I mean, I know it's going to be hard for the Eagles to cut a second round player, before the first contract completes. But there are examples where it's happened before. You know what I mean? And it could happen again because he hasn't really lived up to the draft status. And at this point, I don't even think he needs to live up to the draft status. He just needs to be a serviceable football player.
Yeah,
he needs to make some plays here and there.
Right. This guy, every time I see him play, I never see him on the screen. He's never on the play. He's never open, the guy. Every time I see, every time. He's
busy. He's busy blocking downfield in case Miles, fumbles it or something.
So since I got you guys here offensively, let me ask you guys a question, all three of y'all. First drive of the game, what are your predictions? Like how many downs do you think it is? What's the result of the drive? Who do you think comes out and does what? What are your predictions?
That's really impossible, dude, to answer that question. I feel like because we don't even know what these coaches really bring. Is like they're just they've been coordinators. All these coaches haven't been like a head coach. Like Sirianni's never been a head coach. Gannon's never been a a defensive coordinator. He's just been he bounced around with different I don't know what corner jobs and personnel jobs. This is their first time really coaching for real.
Yeah,
I want to see it. And my predictions on that, I feel if they can run on offense, if they can run the ball, if they do run the ball, then they'll be good. If they can stop the run on defense, we'll be good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just want to see Hurts come in the huddle. Take a leadership role and just he doesn't have to do anything too special. Don't make any mistakes. Just control the offense.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just simple stuff.
You just gotta run the ball, dude.
For my prediction, if you're asking for the first drive of the game, first offensive drive of the game.
First drive.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty conservative. There's no down the field shots. Probably run the ball most of the time. Super conservative, just to get a feel for the game, and then see where the offense leads from there. But the first shot will be conservative.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this team could be very underrated in the run game. I mean, look at Hurts. What was he second in the league in rushing for a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly.
And we got Miles, we got Gainwell, we got Kerryon Johnson, we got Jordan Howard. We got a lot of backs, and with the offensive line that plays decent, we got a great run game.
I mean, he didn't really have a choice last year. I mean, the offensive line was like as Fresh says, it was a turnstile. I mean, he had no choice but to run. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's a great runner.
I'll predict the first drive. I'll go off of this prediction. I think I do think they'll convert a first down on the first drive. I don't think it'll be a 3 and out. So I'm going to say 6 to 7 plays. I think is what's going to probably be the first drive of the game. It may result in a field goal. I don't think it'll result in a touchdown, although I will be ecstatic if it does. I'm going to say Hurts maybe struggles a little bit throwing the ball against a really good defense on the first drive. I think he'll be out there for a second drive potentially. But I do think that he's going to move the ball. I think he's going to convert. Either somebody's going to get a big run or Hurts is going to pick up one with his legs. And then I think, I think it's going to be something like that. I do think that it's going to be a 6 or 7 play drive with the possibility of maybe picking up a field goal. But, I think that they will move the ball. I do think they'll move the ball. And this is a good defense, man. This is a really good measuring stick, man.
Yeah.
What's up, Big Play Slay? What's up, buddy?
I'm great, man. How are you guys?
Good. Ain't you supposed to be getting ready for the game right now?
Yes, I am. I'm just talking to you guys for a bit.
All right. We're very honored.
Yeah.
You look a little young, Big Play.
If I am.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
Today's either going to be a nightmare or it's going to be a good day. To be honest with you.
I don't think it'll be that bad, guys. I mean, even if it's not like the most smoothest thing that goes out there, they're not going. I honestly don't think Nick's going to show that much unless we really struggle. Unless we really struggle, then he might do a little.
I mean, I feel like they're only starting Hurts because they just want to see what he has before he even gets to the season, week 1. I just think they want to see some flashes of what he has before they really start him. That's what I think they're doing.
Yeah. So so let me ask you the same question I asked them, Big Play Slay. Who are your offensive guys? Like who is it on offense that you want to see in this game? Like who's the guy you're like, yo, I really want to see this guy. I want to see a big preseason game out of this individual. I want to see success.
Quez Watkins. Because they've already said that he's been doing very good in training camp. I want to see more, and if you can show me on live television where I can literally see him, then I'll give him something.
That's not a bad pick, man. I like the pick, guys. not a bad pick at all.
What do you think about putting Miles and Boston in the backfield together? That sounds awesome to me.
Scott?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't like it.
All right.
I would prefer Kerryon Johnson than Sanders.
Yeah, same. I don't know.
Hey, Ken, secretly, man, I know you're joking around at being, the championship trophy of Pennsylvania. And I know that preseason games don't matter. I'm not lying when I say I want to win this game. I don't care if it's preseason. Yeah. I want to win the game.
I want every team to lose in our division and us win. That's what I want.
Yeah, that will be fun. That will be impressive.
So then we can say we're going to win the division this year, and no one can stop us.
And I know that this game means absolutely nothing. It has no bearing on anything, but I still want to win it.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got a few other guys that joined the chat. What's up, man? We got 1911 in here, and we got Lindy in zone, guys. So what are y'all's predictions?
I like the name 1911. That's a good name right there.
1911 is going to watch these offensive and defensive lines, especially the offensive line. See if they can keep up with that Pittsburgh defensive line. And I think our defensive line should probably dominate, especially the starters, because their offensive line's a mess.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you, man. Yeah, the line being dominant, especially the first team. Our starters out there on the offensive line, our starters out there on the defensive line. To me, that'd be a huge deal. Like me personally, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is a really good start for how things should kind of go.
Yeah.
What's up, Lindy? What you got, man? Offensively, what are you looking for?
Been a while, Gig. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah. Offensively, it's probably unpopular opinion. You just mentioned J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I mean, he's in the second team for this one. Being that this is the unofficial depth chart, it's going to be subject to change. And I think it is going to change throughout the course of the preseason games because it's all part of the experimental phase of Nick Sirianni trying to figure out, who are the, judging on and grading on just overall talent on who is going to who are the best guys, to put on this 53-man roster. Seeing JJ in that second group, that's one thing that Jason Avant has pointed out to a while ago. When he was actually a part of the seeing JJ in that second group, assistant to Aaron Moorhead. Jason Avant has pointed out to a while.
My bad. That was me. My bad. I sometimes tend to forget that my computer's on while someone's talking. So my bad, Lindy.
Yeah, it's a bad habit, dude. But this is one thing that Jason Avant pointed out in one of his in one of the Q&A episodes. Like he felt that one of the last resorts for JJ to make a difference and not necessarily being a training camp star anymore and actually putting contributions on the football field is throwing him in the slot and seeing what he can do, as one of those glorified 50-50 guys coming out of college. And was he a reach in the second from Stanford? Sure, that's a possibility, and it looks like it to this point. But that's still, at the end of the day, that's still one guy that we want to see some production out of. Yeah, he was a second round pick. That's a hefty investment for the organization. So outside of him, obviously Quez Watkins is another guy. I like seeing Jordan Howard in the second team. He was one that some people felt that he wasn't going to beat Kerryon Johnson when Kerryon came in here. Boston Scott is looking better. So for Jordan to be in this position where not a single other NFL team was giving him a chance after getting the boot from the Miami Dolphins, he's taking this pretty seriously, knowing that this was one of his very last chances to still be in the NFL, and kudos to him. So I'm pretty excited for some of these players in their spots, and just take advantage of your opportunities.
I think some of with our running back group or system, it kind of represents what the Colts have done the last couple of years. You have that lead back with Sanders right now. Taylor's the guy in Indy right now. You have Nyheim Hines, and Kenneth Gainwell resembles more of Nyheim Hines. Then you have Howard, who resembles more of a Mac type. Johnson, I don't know what he resembles.
The Mack truck, bro. I hope so, Slay. I hope Jordan Howard resembles the Mack truck.
I mean, he kind of does. I mean, if you're talking about a truck, and you want a guy to bulldoze and be that third down type of back, he fits that resemblance.
Yeah, I think we have a better team this year than the Colts did last year. To be honest with you, if you really look at the teams that compare, our players really aren't that bad. Our team wasn't that bad last year. We had injuries, and our coaches were the worst coaches in the league. I don't care what anybody says. Doug Pearson, that guy is not a good coach. I don't care what anybody says. He's not that good of a coach.
I mean,
this guy, I don't think he can be any worse than what that guy was.
I don't know, bro. I think the Lions coaches are much worse. Like last year, what they had, or the Falcons, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can say the Texans.
Things I've seen, dude.
I don't know about that.
Let's be real here. We will still take Doug Peterson over Chip Kelly to a fault.
Yes.
That's one thing.
Okay. Yes.
Outside of those smoothies that Chip Kelly had to keep the team healthy, outside of that, no, I'd still take Doug.
I would take Chip Kelly's play calling over Doug Peterson's though. That one I will take over Doug Peterson. The play calling.
Yeah, Chip Kelly was horrible.
Other than that, he just didn't know how to get along with the players.
And who was our?
I think his system got easy to figure out, though. Chip's did. I think Chip got exposed quickly. I think once the league caught up to him, it really caught up to him.
No
it
huddle or
was
nothing.
more like a heavy pass offense, but you got easy.
Just no huddle. There's nothing to it. Yeah.
Got a lot of people chiming in, guys. I'm trying to get your predictions up on the screen. Like I said, guys, you can always come in the chat and you can tell us your predictions, guys. It's all good. It doesn't matter if you've never commented on a video before. It's the first time you tuned in. Guys, you're welcome in. You'll notice the same faces here because we always kind of talk. A lot of these guys have been some big supporters since day one. You know, Joey Z, I know, has been around since day one. Big Play Slays on every single video I have, and I appreciate him greatly. Lindy Endzone, I've definitely been on Lindy's channel before, and we're going to have him get on Gates' channel and return a little bit. So, I mean, guys, you can come in. You can talk. It's all good, man.
Defense is going to look interesting. I do have to say, Gate, especially at that safety spot with the injuries that we're dealing with right now. You know,
yeah.
and,
Well,
I
you know,
mean,
it's a little disappointing. I wanted to see Kevon Wallace play.
Yeah,
That's disappointing.
absolutely.
Oh, what happened?
He's out with a groin, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, we lost like a
Oh,
million players on like Tuesday, basically.
Green screen.
What?
Yep. And that sucks too, because groin could essentially mean anything. I mean, it offensively or defensively, it's not good either way. And sometimes those can linger. So we can only hope for the best in this case instead of the worst.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So let me go. There was a question earlier. I wanted to go over the starting offensive line. So, guys, I'm going off of the Eagles Wire, which is from USA Today's depth chart they put out. This was done a couple of days ago, guys. So there's going to be some changes because of injury. So Dillard and Mulata were supposed to split first-team reps with Dillard up first. But unfortunately, injury, Dillard out. So Mulata's your left tackle. Seomalu is obviously injured, so he won't be playing. So they have Sua Peta listed as your second team. So it will be Mulata, Apeta, Kelsey. Brandon Brooks is out, so Matt Pryor will be your right guard. So once again, Mulata, Apeta, Kelsey, Matt Pryor, and Lane Johnson, first team. That may change, guys, but that's what they have listed. And then your second team gets real interesting. So it looks like it's going to be currently Brett Toth. That may change at left tackle. Okay. Rosh Pierschbacher at left guard. Nate Herbig at center. I don't know if they would keep Pryor out there or not at left guard, but if they are at right guard, I'm sorry. But if they don't, then Owasika would be your second team guard, and then Driscoll will be your right tackle, guys.
Is
Third
Jurega,
team.
yeah, is
Your
Jurega,
guess is as good as mine.
is Jurega getting any snaps?
Third team center, Luke Juriga. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
I was going to say Luke should. He's one of Statlin's favorites, I think, at that spot. So. Yeah, I mean we're already working with a mixed bag again at the offensive line with the injuries that we've suffered so early going, through the practices and training camp. But and again, this is probably going to be a case where we're not going to see a lot of the first string guys out there for very long. I mean, they can't afford for any more first team guys to get hurt. And that could probably affect the amount of time that Jalen Hurts is out there, because you don't want him out there with different groups of linemen, because it's like, that's a bunch of different communications that you have to work with, and that might mess up chemistry a little bit, because it's like, if Jason Kelsey's not out there, and say, for example, if Luke Jurega is out there at center instead of Kelsey, the communications could be different, like how they snap the ball under center and everything. So, I mean, Sirianni's got his work cut out for him a little bit as to being careful on the rotations. But, biggest thing here is just to pray that nobody else gets hurt. We don't want to see a revamp of 2020 all over again. I can't do that. 14 lineups in 16 games. No, it's not ideal at all.
Yeah. So Louis D. So hit me up on Twitter.
Louis.
Yeah, sorry, man, my bad. So look, hit me up on Twitter at Heiter Steve. So HEITTERSTEVE, and I'll tell you how to get around this. All right. I can't tell you over a broadcast, because then they can legally come after me. They could pursue litigation if they wanted to. So I got to be careful. But there are ways. Where there's a will, there's a way to get these games. Trust me.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they give Hurts more than 2 drives?
Yes.
I think that's going to be performance dependent on the offense as a whole. You have to imagine if they're not necessarily in sync, Sirianni's probably going to be like, well, I'm gonna want to see, like, talking from his perspective, he's probably gonna think like, I want to see if these guys can work some of these bugs out in a more game type of setting, whereas it's a little bit more lenient to make those kind of mistakes in practice. But I think he's going to clamp down a little bit on their throats and be like, well, try and work some of these out, especially against a Steelers defense that can be pretty aggressive. Now we don't exactly know how much of the first team, if not any of the first team on defense, is going to play. I don't think Devin Bush played in the Hall of Fame game because he's coming off of that injury. I don't know if TJ Watt even played. Guys like that. So it's going to depend. But I think it's going to come down to how consistent or based on the performance of the offense with Jalen Hurts out there.
Yeah, I would take him out if he looks good in the first drive. If he drives down the field and scores. I mean, just take him out. I wouldn't play him for more than a drive or two.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 preseason games to work with here, plus the joint practices. That are actually a benefit, in this season as opposed to last year. We didn't have joint practices. We didn't have preseason games. There's a lot of time to go through and sort out the rust and try to clean stuff up. So
I agree.
This is going to be a situation where Sirianni and the staff knows that they're not going to fix everything in one night, in one preseason game. They're gonna have the chance to stretch this throughout the course of the rest of the preseason games, and that'll just give them a better blueprint to work off of, that who is going to make it in the roster cuts.
Did they say Flacco's starting for second team? Is that what they? Is that
I think so. Yeah. It's Flacco and then Mullins.
What do you guys think of you go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like that for Quez Watkins. I think he's taking second team reps. And Flacco is the second team guy. And Flacco has a pretty good deep ball, so I like it for Watkins' side. So that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, Watkins is behind Jalen Reagor.
Yep. So yep. But what were you gonna say, Joey?
Oh, I was gonna say. So, what do you guys think of Gannon if he will play 3-4 defense?
I don't know if he's going to be very diverse tonight. He's probably going to keep it as not as vanilla as possible, but he's going to keep it simple enough, because Sirianni is going to be under the same attitude with this. Like, you're not gonna go out there and throw all of your chips on the table, like you throw your entire hand in a preseason game. They're probably going to stay with the fundamentals. They're going to stay with the basics, see how the players respond to the play calling, if they're communicating properly, if they understand their assignments, whether it's maybe some blitz packages in there or not. But yeah, I think it's just going to come down to those two things.
Yeah, I'm definitely in. I want to actually go back to that question that Gay actually started with, the top 3 players I'm going to look forward to. I was thinking of that. Actually, the linebacker, 30 Stevenson, I think his name, or Stevens.
Jacoby
that
Stevens.
guy. I really want to see more of him in that defense, because that fits more of Gannon's personality, defensive schemes.
Yeah, I like him coming out a lot.
It's a shame too, because Jacoby's hurt as well.
Oh my!
He's not playing.
God.
Yep. Jacoby's out too. That's a shame, because
let me read the injury report again, just so everybody, because I know we got a lot of people kind of coming in. So guys, injury report that was released a couple of days ago is limited. Brandon Brooks, Matt Leo, Michael Walker, who's been cut, so it doesn't really matter. Isaac Seomalu. Was Graylin Arnold, Jannard Avery, Jason Kroom, Craig James. I don't know if Jannard Avery and Craig James are going to play tonight. It's hard to say. Then we have, past that, we have the week to week, which is John Hightower, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Stevens, Davion Taylor, and Casey Tucker. So,
and Davion Taylor.
What happened to Hightower? What happened to him?
Groin.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And then in Tuesday, we ended up having issues with Andre Dillard and Kavon Wallace. So,
is this normal for NFL? I know I've been watching NFL for 4 years now.
But I don't know. Is this normal to have like injuries like this like always?
I don't think it's normal for us. I mean, for us it could be normal because it happens to us every freaking year. But I don't know about the NFL. But the Niners, it happened to them last year. It just depends on the conditioning staff, the medical staff, what the players do, how what type of treatment they get, and how much they play on a game day. But that's just what it means.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one because there's a lot of injuries going on right now. But I don't know if I would say it is or is not normal because the thing is each staff might treat the injuries that maybe would not keep players out of football games in the regular season is a little more dire. So like that can change. Superhero 25, just to be funny, pregame is what you do before you go to the bar to save yourself some money.
Yeah.
I think you should know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Superhero should know that.
I appreciate you. Hey, pregame, I appreciate you tuning in and leaving comments. Even if you're a Green Bay fan, I still appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's going to be interesting because, like, let's just read the defensive depth chart, guys. Let's get into the defense a little bit. So, I'm using Eagles Wire from USA Today, guys, if you want to follow along where I'm getting the information from. Guys, they could be wrong. This isn't me reporting it. This is what they put out here. But sorry, guys, I got to let this thing load now.
That always sucks.
Yeah. I hate when it does this, guys. Give me 1 minute because it's Eagles Wires trying to trip right now.
Yeah.
But, we can start with the defensive line. The defensive line is easy to figure out, guys. So, basically, they got Brandon Graham taking the reps at left defensive end. They got Fletcher Cox at left defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave at right defensive tackle, and then your right defensive end is going to be it's not Josh Sweat, it's Derek Barnett taking first team reps. So then your second team reps, there were a few kind of surprises here. So Josh Sweat's taking right defensive end. I was a little shocked at right defensive tackle that it's going with I believe they have Hassan Ridgeway up first over T.Y. McGill, although T.Y. McGill, from what I was hearing, was having the far more impressive camp. But, that's all in the eye of the beholder, guys. That's kind of the issue with these things is that
you can't trust that.
Yeah,
the reporter says that, but the coaching staff may or may not, agree with said statements. So they have second team being Milton Williams, right? And then they have, after Milton Williams, they have Hassan Ridgeway kind of playing those roles at defensive tackle. Then the third team is Raekwon Williams and T.Y. McGill at defensive tackle. Then defensive end on third team is Taron Jackson and then Jaquan Bailey. Here's the thing, linebackers. If you came out in a base, I don't know if they're going to come out in nickel or if they're going to come out in a base 43, but base 43 would be Jannard Avery at the Sam, Eric Wilson at the Mike, and then your Will being Alex Singleton, which is interesting because early in the year when they were asked about Eric Wilson, he was said to be the Will. That's what Gannon told us. That's why they brought him in. So, I mean, that's a little interesting to me. Yeah. But then, if you look at the Sam, I'll just start with the Sam, guys. Sam, Jannard Avery, Joe Osman, Patrick Johnson. What do all three of those guys have in common? They all started off as pass rushers.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that's interesting because, with Jacoby Stevens not really being in the lineup, that was a guy that I could see playing what they call a rover, which is that kind of safety into linebacker role. But with him being out, I mean, I guess that's not even – and they had him – honestly, they had him listed as a will to begin the season, Jacoby Stevens. But second team is Osman, TJ Edwards, and Davion Taylor. Osman at Sam, Edwards at the Mike, Davion at the Will. And then your third team was Patrick Johnson at the Mike. Your Mike was Sean Bradley. Your Will was Jacoby Stevens. And then they had Rashad Smith as kind of a sub-in on the third team kind of guy. Secondary, no big surprise here, guys.
Yeah.
Left cornerback is Darius Slay. Right cornerback is Steven Nelson. Put another way, generally speaking, what we would consider to be the field side or the field corner would be Slay. Your boundary corner would be Nelson. Obviously, those guys will swap out. I don't think they care about field or boundary, either one of them.
Yeah.
Your nickel was Avonte Maddox. And then Kevon Wallace was supposed to get the start with Anthony Harris. Kevon Wallace is down, though. So they had Andrew Adams listed at second team strong safety.
Wow.
So, and then they had Marcus Epps at free safety. I'm going to take a wild guess that it'll be Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris with Andrew Adams and Elijah Riley probably taking second team, and then Blake Countess getting in the game a little bit because he's already, he knows the system. It's definitely interesting, guys. Defensively, there's a lot of interesting, kind of notes here. I mean, does anything stand out to you guys?
Epps, maybe. He's been doing good, I guess.
I don't know about Epps. I don't know about that guy.
Epps has
I
been
haven't
doing
seen too
good
much of him.
season. He's been doing good.
Yeah,
I'll catch y'all later. I got a stream to go help out and prepare for. So I wanted to come in here, stop by, chalk it up with y'all, as Tony Shields likes to say. No pun intended, appreciate hanging out with you once again, Gate.
Lindy, we appreciate you coming in, buddy.
Yeah. See y'all later.
You, later, man. So Texas Eagle, and then we'll get into your guys about the defense here. Texas Eagle with the $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you so much, Texas Eagle, for super chatting me up, buddy. Says, Steve, are you worried about Slay? Not a very good camp so far. Honestly, I think Slay's had a decent camp, actually. I don't think he's had a bad camp at all. I think the one catch that, a couple of catches I've seen on film that got over him, I thought he had good position. There's some things that, a corner can't really do about it. I mean, if a guy makes a good enough catch, there's just not a lot you can do. You know what I mean? I get your concern, though, Texas Eagle, which is I think what you're saying is looking outside of just the respectability aspect of having respectable coverage, can he be a real difference maker? That's a good question, man. And I don't know. That's something he's got to prove. I do think that with adequate back end coverage and with a different scheme where he can be more off ball and play the quarterback more, I think we're going to get far more results from Slay. I think he's going to have a higher INT year.
Yeah. And one thing from last year's bad season that people want to say on Slay and hate on him, I think it's just wrong because last year, other than those 2 games, he put a lock on everyone else that he faced. Let's just be real here. Just go look at the stats, go look at the numbers, just go look at the paper. On paper, he did good against everyone else that's not named DK Metcalf or Devontae Adams. And yes, he got beat a lot on those drives against Devontae and DK, and maybe Terry McLaurin too, but he got the best of Terry McLaurin here and there too. So I don't want to say it's just him. You can't blame everything on him because he put a lock on everyone he faced other than DK and Devontae. And I will keep saying that. And now that he has Steven Nelson opposite of him, now it's going to be easier for him because most of the coverage that he had on wide receivers, it was only him. And Avonte Maddox was on the opposite side. He was getting killed like crazy. So I think it's just the defense last year not helping him out as much. D-line helped him out, but the other corner opposite of him, which was Avonte Maddox, didn't help him out as much. And now he has Steven Nelson, so I think it'll be better.
Yeah, and the scheme on top of it was horrible.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like that scheme.
So just real quick, guys, if you want to join the conversation, we have kind of switched over to defensive talk to kind of round out tonight's conversation. If you guys want to come in and talk some defense, the link is in the chat below. So let me ask you guys a question. Defensive line. What are you waiting to see? Who are the guys to see on the defensive line?
Williams.
Yeah, same.
Milton Williams?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to go against the grain and just say, can you guys hear me?
Hargrave.
Go ahead, Eminem. My bad, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's all right. I was going to say, I'm going to go against the grain and say still that consistency of dominance from both Fletch and Brandon Graham. If they can stay at the level that they've been at, and guys like Milton can elevate, then we'll be set. I mean, our defense. I don't say I'm down on the Eagles this year, but I'm not as high as other people are. But if those guys can keep it together, then this defense, I do believe that this defense will be a
Yeah.
problem for a lot of teams that we face.
It's for me. It's really between Hassan Ridgeway and Milton Williams. Williams because he's getting a lot of hype, and I want to see that hype translated on the field. I saw a lot of tape on him last year, where he did good against good teams. I mean, well, not really good teams, but most of the teams that he faced, he did good against because they were lower ranked teams, and then he faced top end teams and he didn't do good. So I want to see him face top level offensive lineman in the NFL when he gets reps at the defensive line position on first team. And Hassan Ridgeway, I want to also see him because McGill's been playing better than him. That's what we've heard. And Ridgeway, I also had him being a surprise cut off the team at the beginning of the season, like the very beginning of the offseason. I had him being a surprise cut. So the fact that he isn't doing so good has me a little bit worried, and McGill's doing better. So I want to see him get better in training camp and this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you mine and I'll let you guys go. This is just an odd one on the defensive line, but I want to see Marlon Tuipulotu and Raekwon Williams really get it in this game, because when I look at true nose tackles, and I think nose tackles, if we play a 4.25 under, is going to be a huge, even a 43 under, it's going to be a huge role. And those are the only two guys that are like really true noses on this roster. And I don't know that either guy, from what I've heard, is really flashed. Now, that stuff doesn't mean anything, but because you're trusting other people's reporting and not necessarily the coach's eyes on these things. But I do wonder about those two guys in particular. I want to see them do something, but I'll let you guys go ahead. I mean, Mr. Swamp, Jay, Eminem, and you guys want to chime in? Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
You stole mine. Raekwon.
Do you think he'll play
Raekwon
more?
Williams.
Nah, Tuipulotu is like another Anthony Rush. I've told Steve this before. That's the Anthony Rush of our middle of this defensive line.
So, Jalen, when you say that Raekwon Williams, you want to go into some depth. Like, what is it in particular about Raekwon Williams you want to see?
Honestly, because we're going to be running like you just said, I think the defense is not going to be a 4-3 anymore. It's going to be a 4-2-5 as our base alignment. That's our primary alignment. And I'm hyped to see that because, one, I know that defense like the back of my hand. Two, it's a very exciting modern day defense that I don't see enough in the NFL to my liking.
Yeah, I never seen that.
What I'm saying? What did you say?
I haven't seen that defense.
So you haven't?
Who has? What team? Can you give me an example?
It's sprinkled around a little bit everywhere, but the thing is, it's more of a sub package for a lot of defenses. But
Seahawks.
Think of it like a
Seahawks running under.
Nickel. Yeah. Think of it similar to a big nickel, but the thing is, there's a strike on the field, and he's a safety linebacker hybrid. And one play, he's a safety. He can be deep third. The next play, he's in the box, coming down, being the fourth rusher, and if somebody else drops. It's a whole lot of versatility with that play.
Like speed.
Huh?
Like speed, like they need like more speed. Like that's what you mean?
It's actually your Sam in this one needs to be very physical. He needs to be a run stopper. I mean, he needs to blow up. Yeah, he needs to blow up the edge. And then I mean, Jalen can speak to a little bit, but like they guard a lot of the flats and stuff like that in the passing game, but sometimes they'll use them to really disrupt the tight ends, timing off the line of scrimmage too. Like to really just be pesky and stop them.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to learn. Like, I don't want to come off like offensive.
No, this is a very nuanced defense that's only used. Most teams don't run it predominantly; they use it here and there. So it's not something that a lot of people should be very familiar with.
Okay.
The reason why I'm so high on it is because you had a 4 down lineman set before anyone ever got here. Then you started giving your pass rushers. You started putting some pass rushers at that same position, And I know for a fact most of those Sams can easily slide into, D-end at any point in time, and it'd be just a regular 4-3. And you don't know the difference when it's 4-2-5 or 4-3, and you can just mix and match, with the counts.
Right.
Even though it's the same, essentially the same somewhat, but it's a whole lot of looks and versatility you can get out of it. And one of the things look for in the middle of the season is we're going to line our DNs right over both A gaps. You're going to have both of your linebackers, both of the D tackles on the B gaps, and your two linebackers are going to take the C gaps.
Yeah,
it's a crazy pressure look. It's going to cause havoc. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So your Sam should be outside the tight end. Your Sam linebacker should be outside the tight end, or a safety should be outside that tight end. And then your nose can be anything from a zero shade to you won't really. So if you're running a tilted front where the nose is kind of he's shaded towards, right? So you would either be a zero shade, so he wouldn't be a true zero technique. It'd be a zero shade of one or like a 2-eye. Is where that but he's going to be on the strong side of the defense, okay? And then your 3 technique. So your 3 technique is the guy that's normally lined up right over your guard. He'll be on the weak side of the offense, okay? So then you'll have a 5 technique and you'll have a 7. That 7 might be a joker, a stand-up rusher when we say joker. So your defensive line is going to look a little different, but it's really made to be very good about gap control. This is where I think Zimmer's influence in a unique way. I don't think Zimmer's a predominant under guy. I don't know. I can't speak fully on that. I got to really analyze him, but I never really knew him to be a heavy under, but I knew him to be a guy that really preaches gap discipline, especially when it comes to the running game. They're going to be very gap oriented in the running game.
Okay. Yeah, that's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
so before we kind of just played the run on the way to the quarterback. I don't think that's going to be what we're going to see anymore.
So
also,
Gate and
keep an eye out
Jalen.
for Patrick Johnson as well.
Yeah.
So Gate.
Yes, sir.
So Gate and Jalen, since you guys are the experts,
we're not.
Can
experts.
you kind of give
Pause. We're not
compared to me? You're an expert. You guys are compared to me. You guys are Greg Cosell and all those guys on the NFL Network. But so can you give me like a quick compare and contrast between the defense will be running supposedly running this year versus Jim Schwartz?
Sure.
Yeah.
Jim ran so naturally what Jim wanted to do was a cover 1 man coverage aggressive thing where he wanted to be aggressive, right? He wanted to get after the quarterback. His whole principle was for the defensive line to beat the deficiencies of the secondary. There was not a lot of disguise. You didn't see a lot of pre-snap disguise. I mean, Jim did some things here and there. It's not like he never disguised coverage, but it was not a predominant part of his. And basically, you saw a lot of wide 9 where the defensive ends were far outside the tackles, so out past the tight ends in alignment. That's a wide 9. You won't see. I'm not saying you'll never see a wide 9 alignment with Tracy Rocker, but he's going to play his defensive ends a little closer to the tackle. You'll probably see a 7 technique, a joker, but you're going to definitely see probably a little bit more 5 technique from the defensive ends. And then what we're saying is instead of being an over front, right? An over front meaning your 3 technique is basically in an over front, your 3 technique is on the strong side, right? But in an under front, your 3 technique is towards the weak side. Then when we say your slanted defense, that deals with the nose tackle. So a 4-2-5 under slant would mean basically that nose tackle is kind of angled facing towards the opposite guard, but he's really playing the center. He's beating the center off the line of scrimmage. You've got to be quick. You got to be fast. That's why a lot of us thought Milton Williams might get some reps in at nose because he's fast. He got a fast initial release. But Jalen, you go into more depth if you want to.
Yeah. So one of the things you should also look at, compared to Jim Schwartz's defense, a lot of the D tackles and Brandon Graham, they just fired off the ball, regardless of what was happening, in front of them. That's why a lot of times we got beat last year on the rollout because they're just chasing. Now you're going to have a little bit of read and react. So instead of them taking 1-2 fire off steps, they're going to take one, put their head up and try and engage, then read and go. As opposed to 1-2, now I'm trying to find the ball. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yep.
And one of the things, I say it like this. If Gannon actually shows a bit of disguise and is able to trick a few offensive lines, you don't need to have everyone firing off the ball. You have a lot of easy sacks coming. So, miscommunications. Oh, I was supposed to get I was supposed to pick up the DN, but I kicked to the safety. And that stuff is common when you run in a 4-2-5 and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. It makes you think. It makes the offensive line pause and just, okay, I need to know who's coming here, who's in line, how tight is he, can he stunt from there, and all these other factors come into play. So it's really when people mention disguise, that's part of the disguise as well. It's not just in the coverage.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think the best examples I can give to where the defense really struggled at times in terms of really pushing upfield and overplaying would be, think about the Pittsburgh game and think about like the Baltimore game where they kept hitting us with like jet motion sweep and stuff like that. We were over pursuing and then losing gap containment, and they would hit us on the outside with those things.
The Rams game too.
Yeah, the Rams game almost killed us in week 2. Yeah, you're right. That was a horrible one. Yeah.
BG got abused.
Jeez, that game was disgusting.
Yeah, and then guys, so tonight's game, it was already said a little bit earlier tonight. So if you guys want to watch tonight's game, just download the Eagles app, and then it should be on the Eagles app.
Or if you don't want to, if you want to use some other methods, go to reddit.com. Reddit, not Reddit. Reddit's not. I just want to, for Gate's sake, so he doesn't get, I don't know, demonetized, whatever. Reddit, the social network, and from that social network, you can, find your way to.
You become a real life pirate.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much.
Hey, what do you guys think of because the thing I've seen that was always been a problem with this team for the past 2 years is tackling. Do you think these coaches will teach them better how to like this? Because I always see arm tackles. My dad always says about arm tackles. He hates it. He always talks about like you have to always hit below the knees or whatever. I don't ever see that like on these players. Like, what do you guys think about like this tackling? I see a lot of missed tackles.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about last season, different coaching methods, different things going on there. But also, like preseason wise, man, it's kind of tough to judge just because you're not allowed to do a whole lot. It's kind of the issue. Like you're not really tackling to the ground yet. You know what I mean? Like it's very argumentative to say what is and what is not a tackle when you can't tackle to the ground.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, I got a quick question. Do you
Yes, sir.
think because we ran a wide 9 last year, and after you beat after you beat the D line, you're putting your linebackers in space. That contributed to a lot of our missed tackles and why Nathan Gary looked so bad, and we just look awful at linebackers. Do you think that's a major contributing factor?
The system was made to in theory keep the linebackers clean, but in cases where they weren't kept clean, then I think you're making them susceptible, especially if you got linemen getting to the second level. It's not going to be good with the way that Jim was running things. But
see, I wasn't even talking about when they get to the second level. I was talking about them having to make clear open field tackles. Even though you're 3 yards downfield, it's more open field than it is. Hey, I'm actually being thrown into the muck.
Yeah, you can almost you can confirm it. You go right to
Okay, yeah.
guys. If you go to, I know no one likes this website, but it does have its uses, you know. But you can go to you don't even have to go to look at next gen stats, guys. Next gen stats, I think, is the safe way of looking at stuff. But if you go and you look up average depth of tackles and then look up our linebackers, you'll see that a lot of our guys were 3 yards off the ball before they were making tackles. It was one of the big things I said about Jamin Davis, which was picked by the Washington football team, is that I was a little leery of that because in one way you can say he can tackle in space because he's athletic. On the other hand, he's not really making plays until they're 3 yards. Kentucky's system, they were 3 yards down the field before he was meeting ball carriers. He's not really playing around the line of scrimmage. So yeah, Jalen, I mean, I think that's a valid point that, you look at Alex Singleton and that kind of stood out in his numbers in my mind right away. But, go to Pro Football Focus, guys. If you look up average depth of tackles, if you have a subscription there and you can see advanced stats, you'll see it play out real quickly. So yeah, Jalen, I would agree. I would tend to agree. What do you guys think about linebackers tonight since we're on that topic? I'll go over the linebackers again, guys. Jannard Avery, Eric Wilson, Alex Singleton are your scheduled in starters. Jannard Avery does have an injury, so I don't know if he'll start or not. It may be Osman getting the start there, or they may move Edwards and they might move guys around a little bit. I don't know. But what do you guys think about this linebacking crew? Like what would dictate a successful game for you guys in terms of linebacker play?
Just want to make sure I have my information correct. This is Avery's first run as a linebacker?
Second.
Kind of. He played a rush linebacker in Cleveland's system for a year.
Okay.
Which is a similar role to what we want to use our Sam linebacker for.
That's a good question, though, to be honest.
Yeah, no one really. Yeah, it's hard to define it, right?
Yeah.
Well, just to allude to what Mr. Slump said earlier, if they can tackle, then I guess
right.
I guess that's a success for me.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll say this is that our linebackers will have real gap assignments in this system, and it's not that they didn't have gap assignments in Schwartz's, but Schwartz's whole philosophy was to keep the linebackers clean. It's a little different with Gannon's perceived system. Tonight's going to give us a lot of answers, and at the same time, not give us any because they're going to be very generic, I think. But I do wonder. I do wonder if some of these guys can get in there and can make plays. That's what I'm wondering. Like, our Mike will have at times, he will have a B gap responsibility. And I'm wondering, like, can he fill in? Because Pittsburgh is a running football team too. Like they will come at you. I'm very familiar with their offensive coordinator because he was once the offensive coordinator of NC State. So this is a team that believes in the short passing game and believes in running the football.
Huh.
Yeah, I think you already took mine. I just want to see them feel correctly. I'm not too worried about tackling, but my thing is I want to see players in the right gaps, no mental mistakes. That's the only thing I'm really worried about, is making sure guys are taking to coaching versus, okay, I'm still looking clueless out here, and you fill in the wrong gap. The guy's 88 out the gate now. So,
Bobby Murphy, I thought the same thing too about Eric Wilson until I looked at the numbers. Eric Wilson was not very good against the run last year. He was pretty bad. He was he's the lowest rated linebacker on our team against the run.
That could have been because of Minnesota's defensive scheme, though.
Sure. Anthony Harris has been very good against the run. I do agree with that part. Anthony Harris has been really good. But he's more of a free. He's not really, I know that the way that they envision using our safeties is that the free and strong label does not matter in this system at all. You will be both at times in this system with Gannon. But I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting, man. There's so many questions to be answered here.
Yeah.
So who's starting beside Harris tonight?
I heard it's going to be Epps, but I don't know, to be honest. I heard it will be Epps, though.
Okay, that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. Who are you hoping?
No, I'm just talking about in general. I was thinking if Epps was the bar, Epps is bare minimum of making an NFL roster. I was thinking someone like Braylon Arnold might have come up. What's the other guy? It's like a taller dude from Army. I don't know if he's still around or not, but
Elijah Riley.
I
Yeah,
was,
he's
yeah,
scheduled to take some serious snaps, man.
yeah. I'm saying if I wanted one of those guys to kind of step up because safety is a position you can be undrafted and actually make a living in, in the NFL. And
Mhm.
I was just hoping one of those guys made some type of noise, but hey,
Yeah.
you never know.
Well, hey, Bobby Murphy, we don't know if he sucks against the run. We just know that he didn't play well for whatever reason in Minnesota's system last year. Now, that could be system-based. There's a lot to answer there, right? A lot of question marks left. He's a very athletic guy. I'm hoping that he turns out to be far better than we think, right? I mean, that's really the
He can't be any worse than Nathan Gary. Like, oh my god.
So, from what I understand, in switching into the secondary, guys, I know because I need to go get food and stuff. So, just to round out our conversation for tonight's pregame.
Because what 7 o'clock the game?
Yeah, we're on. Yeah, 7:30, I think, but we're
7:30.
5 minutes out from 7, guys. So, Kavon Wallace is out. So that means, from what I understand, is Marcus Epps will probably take the next snaps, and then your next guys are Elijah Riley, Andrew Adams, and Blake Countess. That's your safeties. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting, guys.
So I was actually, I'm glad you brought up the safeties. I don't know how this is going to work out, but do you think we could somehow pick up a safety before the season starts, or?
Should we though, with Kavon Wallace still not knowing it and having what we heard was a decent camp, good camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the reality, but if he gets back soon enough, then we'll know because these joint practices will mean a lot.
Right.
I don't know, man, because I guess it hinges on the health of Rodney McLeod. How healthy is
Yeah,
Rodney?
I'm not. Me personally, I'm not confident about him staying healthy. So.
Bobby, that's funny.
I will say it like this: we do have a trade chip called Andre Dillard, so we can take our failed project, turn it into somebody else's failed project, and try and make it work here.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they would be a little more aggressive after a guy like Malik Hooker, but they didn't.
Who would that be to you, Jalen? At least in respect to safety. Okay.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now. But I was banging on the table 2 years ago when Nasir Adderley and all of them came out, where you were getting, I think you could win like the 4th round, and what's it, Thurman winning the 5th round. It's ridiculous. All those guys were on starting caliber safeties. They went 4th, 5th, 6th round. We didn't take near one of them. So it's kind of, I'm still a little bitter about that.
So I want to get into one last topic, guys, before we jump off of here. All right. Second team defensive back. We already know the first team, guys. First team is going to be Slay, Nelson, Maddox. Second team is really interesting, and I'm really hoping this second team turns out to be dynamic. McPherson, Josiah Scott, and Michael Jaquette. I got high hopes for this second team.
Jaquette.
You know what, though? Jaquette has been in good position, but there are a couple of those plays, man, there was really nothing he could do. I mean,
he's
it
good.
wasn't like
I think
he
he's
failed.
good.
You know, the only thing you can make an argument for is he needs to learn how to play through the hands when guys are high pointing and not just rely on his size. But he's a guy, like, I want to see him go against other competition again because there was something there. There was something there in that Arizona game before he got taken apart by Gallup in Dallas.
He was good,
for sure.
though.
Yeah.
I think he was good, at least for a little bit.
And I'll say it like this: the secondary, even if they get, somebody throws some numbers on them, those are good wide receivers that are going up against them as a secondary. Because Pittsburgh has always had in at least 4 to 5 deep wide receiver, and all of them be productive. So.
Yeah. So what are you guys' prediction for the second team? I mean, Josiah Scott, I think, is going to pick one tonight. I think Josiah Scott's going to get one. I think McPherson's got a shot at getting one. Those two guys are aggressive, man. They play the ball.
It depends on who's the second team quarterback. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's Haskins, they might not get one. But if it's what's the guy's name? Not Landry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The dude got hit in the head with the helmet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I don't remember his
starts
name
with
either, but I know
M.
who you're talking about. Yeah, he got into
Yeah.
that fight. Yeah,
If it's him, somebody taking one to the house. Yeah.
yeah. I'm telling you, man. I think I have a good feeling, man. I have a really good feeling that McPherson or Josiah Scott's going to get one. I don't know, maybe they don't, but man, I just those dudes. Yeah, Mason Rudolph. Thank you, just Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a feeling one of those guys are going to get one. All right, I'll give you guys bold prediction. I already said my bold prediction. I think either McPherson or Scott gets an INT in this game. Mr. Swamp, what's your bold prediction, man?
I think probably Scott.
Josiah Scott getting one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Eminem?
J Jaw gets 6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. Ooh.
Yeah, man. He dominates the game.
But only
No
one
one-
catch,
no one-
11 fumble recoveries.
Yeah, pretty much. No one on Pittsburgh's defense can stop him. He'll emerge.
Are we talking
No,
about
but in all
Pittsburgh Panthers, the college team?
No, but no. In all seriousness,
So much semi-pro in Pittsburgh.
is it bold to say that Quez will have a fantastic game? I mean, I don't feel like that's
No,
bold.
I don't think. Yeah, Quez will have. I think that's a fair prediction.
Okay. I guess I can't really answer that because
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's a fair. I think it's a fair one. I think it's a fair one. Quez
Yeah.
Watkins has a big game.
Yeah.
What about you, Jalen? What's your bold prediction?
My prediction is probably around the two defensive ends we drafted. Even the one specific linebacker, Patrick Johnson and what's the other guy? Jackson. Teron Jackson, whatever his name is.
Teron Jackson. Yeah, the kid
I
from.
think one of them probably gets a sack, and they'll both apply pretty decent pressure. Because honestly, what's the guy named Jackson? Johnson. Wow, I'm mush mouth today. Johnson is a pretty good Russian by himself. He's pretty polished and everything like that, and he's going up against second and third team guys trying to make the roster. I think that's a mismatch all day. He'll flash. So.
Yeah. All right, guys, we appreciate y'all so much. It is the countdown to the first preseason game, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will be live with the guys, so y'all check us out Saturday night. We will be live. Y'all know I got my Philly Fresh merch, so y'all go check out Print Chance, Philly Fresh. Get y'all some merch, man. I don't have a merch store yet, guys. We'll get to that at a later date. I want to offer you guys something that's decent. I don't want to just throw stuff out there, guys. I want to make sure I come up with something decent before I throw out merch or anything like that. And I don't know, my merch might be a little unique, guys. You know how I am. It's probably not going to be what you expect. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much, guys. Hey, let's go Eagles, man. Fly, Eagles, fly. It all starts, guys. We got preseason tonight. Following that, we got a couple of games to where we got a couple of days of actual, camp practices, joint practices, followed by a preseason game, followed by the following week with the Jets. We have 2 days of joint practices, followed by a preseason game. This is the heart of everything, guys. These next 17 to 20 days is really what's going to matter. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate it. Proud Infidel before I jump off with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Proud Infidel. I appreciate you, buddy. We should play Hurts for 2 quarters. Just watch the pocket difference when Joe steps in. Well, he's playing against his old team, man, so he's going to be motivated. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and
All right, man.
bye, guys.
all right, go Birds.
Go Birds. Yep.